So, my good friends, effects of non-compliance. I know when you think about this, the first thing that comes in mind, oh, yeah, that is government to worry about if I don't comply. But you may want to remember the challenges that come to you, my friends. And some of these challenges are reality. I like the way Moses posted in our WhatsApp wall, something I like talking about in taxation, that there are two things you're assured in life. One is tax, the other one is death. It does not matter which one comes first, the other one follows. The only difference is that tax will be reviewed over your time. Death comes once. Now, what is the implication of this? See, if you don't pay, if you don't comply, the taxman may catch up with you. Actually, he'll catch up with you. And then that causes business disruption. Because when you start running away from the taxman, closing the gates or probably trying to avoid, at that time you're not concentrating on your business. Your business then is the business of running away from the revenue authority. I wish we can get to the point where, like this one client of mine said, there is one person I am not afraid about anymore. KRA. He can come at night, he can come in the morning, he can come lunchtime, anytime. I'm not worried because I've set everything the way it should be. In fact, I'm more concerned now about the customer so that I satisfy him and I guarantee my business continuity tomorrow. Of course, cash flow effects. Because if you did not pay when you were supposed to pay, you accumulate debts. You are now required to pay tax of 3 years in 1 month. Well, of course, you can negotiate to spread it, but of course, there's disruption to your cash flow. What does that mean to your business? Relationship with your suppliers, relationship with your lenders, relationship with your customers becomes a problem. Why? Because, of course, you are not able to solve them. You don't have peace of mind. There are many times I do cases on tax, and sometimes the question comes, if you are caught up and you are asked to pay all these millions that are going and you have no money, what did you do? And I remember this person says, I look for the tallest building and jump. Well, of course, that means you have no peace of mind. And of course, we want our government to have revenue because that is the way government is able to serve us. That's the way the government is able to provide us with services. Now, but what causes this non-compliance? Why is it that we fail? Sometimes it is ignorance on our part or low level of knowledge about taxation, okay, about tax requirements. Okay, I am excited sometimes when I see the question that comes and keep bringing them those questions because the beauty of those questions is that you learn and you help others learn. Okay. People may argue that one of the problems is the complexity of the tax system. Okay. Einstein, I think one of the brightest people in the world, once said, the most difficult things to understand is income tax. Okay. Perhaps because of so many rules, so many changes here and there. But of course, there are many reasons we keep adjusting these. Often we adjust them because we want to have better redistribution of income, better provision of services, and many other reasons. Sometimes the reason why we have tax non-compliance is poor cash flow management and financial management. The money that was meant for payee, we use it to pay a supplier, only to be caught up somewhere along the way. Okay? Or perhaps we have pinched the money from the business so much so that the business is no longer able to meet its obligations to tax payment. I would encourage you seriously to attend some sessions on cash flow management for your business. We have done that some before. If you have not attended, I would really encourage you, the ones that come later, who are record keeping. By the way, you should know it's a legal requirement for you to keep proper books of accounts for tax purposes. Okay, I don't know whether you knew that. Well, I am sure one of the reasons is many people argue, I think I'm better off with the money than have it in the government. Distrust. Okay? And hey, I think it's a reality that corruption and fraud is a serious problem. Okay, I know as many times people want to justify, why should I pay money for the government only for the money to be lost through corruption? Okay, now we may want to look at what really would be the solution to this kind of problems. Learn about tax, and I encourage you, congratulate you for being in the session today. Learn about your tax obligation. Okay, one of the way of doing that is to keep tax regulation documents like the Acts, Income Tax Act, VAT Act with you, Finance Bill, and so on. Okay, take time to read a section that relates to you. Okay. Now, I've said this before many times, my good friends. Your core business is to run your business. Your expertise is in running your business. It is not running around to do your tax issues. Some of them are a little bit complex. It's for that reason I encourage you to have a tax agent. A tax agent is like your lawyer. Okay, it's like your lawyer. A lawyer for tax purposes. And also the tax agent is like your advocate. He's the person who will fight for you when that moment comes. And of course, has the knowledge. One of the things I encourage SMEs is we need to think deeply about the beauty of working together. Okay? If you walk alone, you can walk fast. But if you walk with others, you can walk far. So think about it. Association of SMEs. You notice big corporates many times organize themselves. And because of that, they lobby things including taxation. Where are SMEs to lobby for their tax effects? Come together, my good friends, with those associations. Okay? Invite the authorities in church. Okay? Engage them. But above all, if you have issues with the government, every time they hear, oh my goodness, there are so many issues of taxation, nobody is thinking about it. Okay, the person who represents you is the one who is in charge of the policy relating to your taxation. Remember that when you are voting. Remember that when you're voting. Okay? I don't think I'm a politician. I just know the consequences of politics. Right? So that you can make people who will work with your association and yourself to lobby for your position. Think about these things, my good friends. When we are talking about KRA now and taxation, we are focusing more on the national government-related taxes. By the way, you should know the idea of setting a revenue authority is envisioned in future. KRA would have the authority of collecting all government revenues, whether national or local. Okay, so and then you can see these ones in the county: property, charge for services, trading license, entertainment, parking fees, liquor licensing, and so on. In the past, we have had a discussion about the employment income tax. Okay, I would just want to highlight a little about this, and I would encourage you very much that you may go back to the notes we have used before. So if you want to go to the details of this, because I want us now to spend a little more time on new developments in taxation. Okay, so so if you want, just give us your email. We'll send you the slides. It's good to see the payee. So people say pay as you enjoy. Okay, a tax accounted for by employers. Now, I want to emphasize that. You see, it is paid by employees, but accounted by employers, which means the responsibility of paying and disclosure is on the employer. If you fail to make that payment, the obligation is on you as an employer. The tax authority does not follow the employee. I want to emphasize that because I have seen a couple of cases in the last 2 weeks or so, right, relating to this, okay, where an organization had not remitted employee tax, and now they have a hefty bill of millions to pay. I sympathize with their cash flow, okay? Now, of course, it is graduated rates. A number of things have been changing here, especially because of COVID, okay? It might be good to know that the income comes in various forms. And I want to emphasize that. It does not matter what name you give it. So long as it's an income earned by an employee in exchange of employment services to you, then it is taxable. Call it wages, call it salary, call it leave pay, call it allowance, call it what you want. It is taxable. Okay? It is taxable. It might be good to know that benefits than cash nature will be taxed if they're more than 3,000 per month. Okay? These benefits are of many kinds, right? If you give a car, if you give a premise, if you give airtime or whatever it is, above 3,000 shillings per month is taxable. Well, I should have gone back to the allowance. Okay? If the allowance per day, what you call per diem, is 2,000 shillings and below, that's not taxable. Okay. Now, what is important about the cash benefits? Because sometimes you forget the benefits you are giving, right? Only to be caught up later. I noticed last week a school, one international school, okay, I have to bill, I think, 140 million because they subsidize fees for their staff. You see, the subsidized fees for school you give your staff is a benefit that is taxable, right? It's only exempt for what is called low-income workers, okay? And most of the people you have employed, I think anything more than 30,000 shillings is not low income. So when you give them fees at a subsidized rate, that subsidy you're giving is a taxable benefit. So you need to capture all these to be careful so that you're not caught unawares. Emphasis on business income tax again. I know sometimes people ask, suppose I carry business outside Kenya, is it taxable? You see, business income is one that is wholly earned in Kenya, or partly in Kenya and partly outside Kenya, or gains profits deemed to have accrued derived in Kenya. And there are mechanisms of doing this, okay? If the key operations are within the country and then sub-activities are outside the country, that is income deemed to be earned in Kenya. Okay, keep putting those emails, we shall share the notes. Okay. Now, one of the recent developments that we want to share is minimum tax, which was introduced in the Finance Act 2020, right? It is a base income tax payable regardless of whether the business makes a profit or not. I think part of this is to help expand the tax scope, but also exercise some fairness. Okay, where the rate is 1% for 1% of gross turnover. That is, it's on income. It is not on profit. It's on income, revenue. Okay, effective this year, right? And where the installment tax payable by a person is higher than the minimum tax, then a person shall pay the installment tax. But where the minimum tax is higher than the installment tax, then the minimum tax shall be payable, right? Okay, as you notice, it is to expand tax base and ensure equity and fairness in the tax system, right? I know you may have questions about this. Oh my goodness, I could be making laws and so on and so forth. Yeah, but you'll understand when tax is being introduced, plenty of research is carried out, plenty of effects have been looked at of the consequences, and therefore it is very, very important that we inform ourselves, we get ourselves very clear. Of course, when you're corporates, limited companies plus cooperatives, right, residents pay 30% and non-resident is 37.5%. Okay, it might be good to remember about the returns. Okay, return of income tax due on or before the last day of the 6 months after the end of the accounting. So if you accounting period ends in December, and it's very advisable that you use the calendar year because of the natural nature of our customs sometimes. So then you need to do your return by 30th June. Please notice it is not on 30th June, it's by 30th June. My good friends, these returns are for all incomes, okay? That means even if you're just employed, you need to do your return. If you wait until the last day, don't be surprised, things can happen. I mean, I think sometimes it's good to give credit that systems are systems created by human and they can have weaknesses. If we all go to do our returns on the last day, then don't be surprised that there will be some kind of queuing. Okay? Now, it is good that you remember for corporate bodies, any period of 12 months ending on a date chosen by the company and communicated to Commissioner in writing will be the end of your accounting period. I don't want to go to much details again on computation of income tax and so on. We have done that before. And again, if you want, it will be in the slides that I'll be sending for previous presentation we have done. But I want to emphasize something here. Many times we lose opportunities, perhaps because of ignorance, okay? We think that the only thing that happens in income tax is your revenue minus your expenses, that you know cash expenses, and then the difference is what you pay. Yes, it is. But there are other allowances the tax authorities have provided you, which are to encourage business and to encourage investment. I want to emphasize here because I notice many times people miss out on this beautiful opportunity, perhaps because of not keeping records, perhaps because of not knowing.